The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
Toy Drive on Triad Today. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you from the beautiful Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. We'll tell you more about the garden later on, and later on is when the roundtable shows up, and that's when we'll get into all sorts of controversial and weird things, so stay tuned for that. Lots of great guests, important information coming your way over the next half hour, so stick with us. I hope you will. Where we want to start, though, is with two good friends of the show who've been on here many times before. Atticus Simpson, Executive Director of True Lion Foundation of True Lion Federal Credit Union, and his special guest, and we've had Sarah on many times before, Sarah Butner, Communications Manager for Goodwill Industries in Northwest North Carolina, and I guess together for the first time as a team, right?
I think so,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah.
All right, now let me start with Atticus. You and I have talked a lot about the foundation, True Lion Foundation, about its commitment to the Triad, but to the community.
Yep.
And also about things you've done to help relief for flood victims and hurricane from Helene. It was a horrible thing in western North Carolina. But over the holidays, you did something to shore up that support and do something extra. What was that?
Yeah, thank you very much. So over the holidays, when we were together last time, we talked about the relief that we did back in the fall when hurricane came through. But we knew there were going to be more relief needed. And so over the holidays, we partnered up, we being True Lion Foundation, along with True Lion and the Goodwill Industries of Northwest North Carolina, to conduct the Donate Dollars campaign to help generate a little more relief for our neighbors in the West.
How'd it turn out?
It turned out very well. Because of donors to the campaign, we were able to raise about $64,000, which we then gave to Goodwill to help with their Good Neighbor program. The thing that's so important about that is these were a lot of our members who gave their own money, and True Lion stepped up and did a match,
right,
dollar for dollar for every donation that came in.
Sarah, Atticus mentioned the Good Neighbor program. Let's back up for a second. What is that?
Yeah, the Good Neighbor program is something Goodwill's operated for several years in conjunction with the community partner agencies that we work with. We give those agencies, other nonprofits, the vouchers for their program participants to shop in Goodwill stores for whatever they need, whether it's furniture and household items or clothing. Right. And that's just an extra way for us to give directly to people in need through those organizations.
And I'll mention it, folks, that Sarah's getting over some laryngitis, so I'm torturing her, but I'm glad she showed up, though. But now tie this back into the hurricane. How does this Good Neighbor program help specifically? How has it impacted the hurricane area?
Sure. Well, when we've had disasters in our area before, we could sort of ramp up the Good Neighbor program to assist directly with that. And we will work with organizations like the Red Cross to distribute vouchers to people who have lost everything. For instance, there was some flooding in Haywood County several years ago. And this was a much different situation because the flooding and the damage was so widespread.
Yeah.
So we set up community hubs at the Goodwill Career Centers and with some of the partner agencies like NC Works that we already work with in a couple of areas in Western North Carolina. So from mid-October through February 7th was when we were able to close the last one. We assisted more than 31,000 people with everything from help filing for disaster unemployment to vouchers for our stores.
How important are contributions like, getting help from somebody like True Lion Foundation? How important is that?
It was a tremendous help, the support from the True Lion Foundation, because it allowed us to, to leverage that, what we were already doing even more. Right. We were able to give the partner agencies that we were already working with in Watauga County, Henderson County, and Buncombe County, some of those funds to directly assist the people that they are already working with, and to do that, have that immediate impact on them in what was a very difficult time of year this winter with the holidays and the weather changing.
Right.
So it made a tremendous impact directly where needed.
Absolutely. And up on screen, you can visit goodwillnwnc.org. That stands for Northwest North Carolina. Goodwillnwnc.org for more information about all the great work that Sarah and her team and all of Goodwill does. And also, you can go to truelion.org/foundation, truelion.org/foundation to find out more. You guys both do so much for the community, and teaming up makes it even better. Atticus and Sarah, thanks for braving through the laryngitis to be here.
Sorry.
Atticus, thanks for everything.
Our pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
You know, it's hard to believe the Safe Sober program has been going strong for over 30 years.
And over 600,000 students have made the pledge to stay safe and sober on prom night. You know, Griff, it's had a huge impact on our community.
Yeah, you're right, David. And now we're making sure the message continues year-round.
So everyone can join us in supporting our students.
Learn more and take the pledge at safesober.com, sponsored by Daggett Schuler.
The world's brightest are Fulbrights, Goldwaters, McNairs, and Spartans. UNCG, find your way here.
Back now on Triad Today, always glad we can spend a few minutes with the good folks from High Point Theater. Always something going on over there that's fun. And, of course, our special guest, Dr. Dan Bernard, director of High Point Theater. Good to see you again, sir.
Nice to see you, Jim. How are you?
Let me just start out by saying that, and this is going to sound like Captain Obvious or something, but most of us think of, when you come on or we're talking about the High Point Theater, say, oh, yeah, concerts, symphonies, plays, comedians, things like that. But you're going to be having something kind of special in the film world too, right?
You are right that it is different than our usual business, but there's nothing like seeing a film on the big screen in the big hall, and so we don't want to avoid that.
No.
So this
now, what is the festival called, and what date is it?
This is the Banff Mountain Film Festival, March 13th, and it is a collection. It'll be 8 short films,
okay,
all of mountain adventure. Incredible cinematography.
I want to ask you about 3 of them specifically so that we don't run out of time. There's one called, you sent me an email about it, says 109 Below. What's that about?
109 Below was this is actually, we had 4 different programs we could pick from. And I picked this particular program based on that film because it was the Grand Prize Award winner. It is both an adventure film and a drama, which is unusual. Usually they go one way or the other.
Yeah.
So this film, 109 Below, is the wind chill on the mountain of where this all happens,
right.
Washington Mountain. A couple of climbers got stranded and had to be rescued. Took them 3 days to actually get them, and during the rescue, one of the rescuers died.
Oh, man.
So there's like a lot of plot going on.
A lot of tense stuff. And so that film, we'll see that film.
We'll see that in its entire, we'll see them all in their entire,
Right.
Some of them are really short though.
Now, I'm going to mispronounce this, Dan. That you sent me an email about this other film, Strife or Strife?
I think it's Strife.
What is that about?
This is just an incredible, it's only a 3-minute film, but it is, it shows a guy on a mountain bike going down a downhill ski run. That's just, there's a big downhill race about to happen, and he takes his bike down the run.
Oh, wow.
And it purports to be unauthorized, and a lot of the reactions of people are, they're surprised, and he comes close to hitting people. It just looks like
That's
a
scary.
complete lark. But I don't know if that's true, because the way it's filmed so well,
Yeah.
and if it was really unauthorized, he would have had to have like 10 or 12 cameras stationed to get all that. So I don't know if it's, but the filming, the stunt riding is amazing.
The final one I want to ask you about is Dolomites. What is that?
Dolomites is kind of what you would expect from the Banff Festival. This is a geographic location, so people are mountain biking and skiing in the Italian Alps. Just kind of a travelogue of all the places they go.
Right.
Very cool. And again, the cinematography on these, all of them are incredible.
All right, so let me ask you a dumb question. If I'm coming over there Thursday, April 13th.
March 13th.
I'm sorry, March 13th.
If you come April 13th, there's going to be nothing going on.
Well, I don't like crowds anyway. All right, so if I go over there, are you telling me I'm going to see all this kind of diversity and selection of films all at the same time?
Well, one after the other, yes.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, now, I see on the website, too, tickets $16 to $19. Very quickly, what's the difference, and are tickets still available?
They are still available. And that's the all-in price. That's the price with fees and taxes added. The 16 is for students, and then adults are 19.
So when you say students, what about young kids? Are they going to enjoy this, or is it for them?
Anybody would enjoy it. It's so gripping. There's nobody going to be bored in there.
All right.
And there are a couple of giveaways. So if you're lucky enough to get that Banff sends
Oh, yeah.
some extra little
Okay.
prizes.
Well, up on screen, I want to make sure I don't get it wrong this time. Banff Film Festival, that's Thursday, March the 13th. Thursday, March the 13th. Doors open 6 p.m. Show starts at 7 p.m. Of course, you can get more information in detail, more than what we could cover here, from highpointtheater.com website. I love the website, and it's 2 T's in there, highpointtheater.com, and it's TR.com. Or for tickets, call 887-3001. That's the best way to get tickets. And 109 below, huh?
It's pretty cold.
I don't know if I want to go. Are you going to feel the cold from the film?
That'd be cool if we could pump in some
Yeah.
really cold. That's a great idea.
Yeah, go ahead and do it. Thanks, Dan.
Good to see you, Jim.
We'll be back in a minute. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today also airs on GTN Spectrum Channel 13 and streams on WFMY Plus, free on Roku and Amazon Fire. Back now on Triad Today, and with all the snow and ice predicted before and after us, and I know you're either watching on Saturday or Sunday, or it's streaming on your computer, but the whole area, we've been talking about winter weather, so it's appropriate we have this gentleman with us. Nathaniel Moore is manager of street maintenance operations for the city of Greensboro. Good to see you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Let's talk. I want to go into a couple different kinds of things that don't have anything to do with snow, but first, let's talk about maintaining streets in winter weather. Now, during snow and ice events, how many city employees are involved in getting ready, and how many hours do these crews work?
So what we do is our program's broke down into two sides. So we have our highway side and our non-highway side. Our highway side roughly consists of about 120 employees, and our non-highway side is roughly 60 to 70. So our highway side does 2 shifts. So we do emergency operation. We get into a 24-hour operation with 12-hour shifts. And then our non-highway side, once an event starts, they'll come in and take care of all of our critical facilities, police, fire, warming centers.
And these teams are doing stuff like putting down the salt brine and all this stuff, right?
They are. So we get ahead of the storm and we pre-treat, and then in the storm we will salt and push snow.
How do you prioritize what to do in what order?
So what we've done is we have the city broke down into 3 tiers, basically a priority 1, priority 2, and a priority 3 tier.
Right.
And the top tier, our priority 1 roads, those are what we focus on in the beginning. Those are our key corridors, those are our schools, our emergency management locations, and key commerce locations.
What kind of, let me get into the weeds on this thing. I mean, how much salt is required to prepare streets for a snow or ice event? I mean, give me a rough idea.
So what we do, we keep in the city of Greensboro right at 4,000 tons of salt on hand at any given time.
Right.
That's out of 2 locations. So we have a location on the east side of town and west side of town.
Now, let's get away from winter for a second, because spring will be on us pretty soon. So let's talk about some regular type everyday things. And one of the pet peeves we have is potholes.
Yep.
All right. So how many potholes do your crews repair each year in the city of Greensboro? Do you have any numbers on that?
We do. So every year we take care of between 3,000 and 4,000 potholes a year.
Wow.
So weather conditions like this are something that definitely contribute to that. When we're having to push, we're having to have that freeze-thaw cycle, they definitely increase that number in our system.
Right. So, as snow storms subside or whatever, and people, do you have people riding around looking for potholes? I know this sounds like a stupid question. Or do you wait for people like me to call up and say, hey, Nathaniel, there's a pothole in front of my house?
So we do both. One of the things, we have a contact center that is a one-call center, 373 city for the city, that reports anything you can imagine. And potholes is one of our major things, but we have 4 dedicated crews that just do potholes throughout the city.
And a lot of us, one of the things we all like, we see it all the time, is, people, your crews painting stripes and whatever, lane lines, that kind of thing. Now, how much of that is done every year?
So overall in our network, we have right at 1,100 miles of roads that we maintain.
Lord.
So every year we look at targeting between 20 and 25 miles for repaving. And then associated with that is all your pavement markings get put back, your detectors for street lights get put back. So once we go through that process, we will come back right behind that and restore those services.
Oh, Lee. Let me ask you a personal question real quick before time runs out, because you and I just met a few minutes ago. What's gratifying to you about your job?
One of the great things, I do all the emergency response in the city, and to be able to have those crews get back out, get the city back open, because when we have an event like we're having coming up,
right.
People are not able to get out and run their day-to-day lives. You're not able to go to the grocery store. You're not able to have that doctor's appointment. And our goal is to be the best snow removal in the state of North Carolina, and I think our folks completely do that.
Well, that's great. I'm glad you're here. It was topical and typical and important that you were here. Up on screen, greensboro-nc.gov is the general website. Nathaniel, I know that folks probably never got to meet you before. Now they have, and I'm glad because you and your team do a great job. Thanks for everything.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We'll be right back after this.
North Carolina's economy is growing, bringing new businesses and opportunities. The need for electricity is growing too. At Duke Energy, we're meeting the challenge, providing even more electricity that's cleaner, reliable, and that stays affordable. We're getting out of coal and reinvesting in our communities with a diverse, balanced mix of energy sources and making targeted upgrades to the grid so that North Carolina can thrive in a smarter energy future.
Back now on Triad Today, and have a very special guest with us who's been with us many times before. I'm always glad can she spare a few minutes for us. Christy Bird's Director of Patient Advocacy for Mountain Valley Hospice Palliative Care. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
We have something kind of pleasant to talk about in a sense because, and I know it's a serious topic, and my parents have been through hospice before they passed away, very serious and very emotional. But to help support the people that you help, you have to have fundraisers.
Yes.
And you have to have people helping with that. So let's talk about something fun. There's a toy drive coming up that I want to ask you about in just a second. But people, before I get too far ahead of myself, they say, hey, hospice is just for adults, but it's not, right?
Right. Hospice is for anyone who has that prognosis of 6 months or less. And sadly and unfortunately, children sometimes fall into that category. So we take care of pediatric patients who need hospice, but we also take care of patients who are in our serious illness program. Maybe they have a symptom to manage. They have a life-limiting illness, but a symptom to manage. And we also care for children who are grieving.
That's right. Now, this PEAK, you sent me an email about a PEAK pediatric program, PEAK. What does that stand for and what is it all about?
Sure. So our Love's PEAK program is the blanket that encompasses all of our pediatric programs together. PEAK stands for Providing Empathy and Assurance for Kids. And we know at the peak of care and the peak of care for Mountain Valley, for the parents, for the families that are caring for them, it's this kind of big ball of love and care that they're providing. But we also know they're going to go through peaks and valleys, and so our goal is to be there for them. And we have staff who are specifically trained to take care of these pediatric patients.
Like I said, like you were saying, kids that tragically have terminal illnesses and also have lost a loved one. And so on both sides of that, you help. All right, now, I said we're going to talk about something fun, and that's the toy drive. What's that all about?
So we are doing a toy drive so that we have tools to take into the homes when we're caring for our pediatric patients. So we are calling them Tools for Connection, and offering an opportunity for others to help provide for this toy box.
Right. Now, is this for just kids that are directly affected, or does it go to their siblings, or do you help plan activities, or how does all this work?
Yes, so these toys are going to be used to work with our pediatric patients, but also used for siblings as well. I can give one example of a pediatric patient that we care for. He has several siblings, and so we go in and we take care of him. The nurse and the social worker go together. The nurse is able to do her assessment while the social worker has these toys out and playing with the siblings, building trust and making those connections.
Yeah, because it's all a family connection too,
Yes.
and you don't want the kids to feel slighted, and anybody who isn't the patient. Hey, now what kind of items or kinds of toys and things should people donate? Because we'll give the website address in just a second. And I know that as we speak, or a day or so ago, you had a fund drive going with the help of 13 Bones Restaurant,
Yes.
I think. So, but However people want to help. And of course, they can send cash. I know that too.
Absolutely.
But if I want to go out and get toys, now how's that all that? What do you need?
So we're looking for really any kind of toy because we can make a connection. Child's play is their work, and so we can make a connection with most toys. We do need things that are washable, things we can take in a home and wash and take back to another home.
Right.
But toy instruments, baby dolls, coloring books, crayons, and we're looking at things for teenagers too. So
Really?
any, those fun fidget toys and adult coloring books, things that we can connect with the teenagers as well.
I know this is common sense, but I mean, they need to be, do they have to be new or at least in working order or what?
We would prefer new, but definitely in working order, yes.
Okay, all right. Now, what I want to do is put up something on screen. If you want to make donations, find out more about what Christy's talking about. But also, if you want to make monetary donations, you can go to MTN Valley, of course it stands for Mount Valley, mtnvalleyhospice.org/toy-drive, or you can call the number 888-789-2922. And Ken, we have just a couple of seconds left. Did I hear, or you sent me an email, something about people can go through Amazon to help?
Yes, we also have an Amazon wish list, and they can go through our website, and there's a link there to the Amazon wish list. So
How
they
about
can,
that?
and the toys will come directly to Mountain Valley Hospice.
All right, Christy Bird, thanks for all you and your team do year-round for hospice patients, kids and adults. Thanks for everything.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you to catch my column Longworth at Large and Yes Weekly every week. It's available throughout the Triad, or you can go online, yesweekly.com. Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable, but a quick shout out to the good folks here at Senior Botanical Garden. Check out the garden, check out the website, always something going on. And here we are in snow weather days, and I couldn't be happier to be with. I can't think of three people I would rather be with if I got snowed in. At least one of them. At least one of them. Ogie Overman, Rosemary Kleiman, and Keith Granberry. All right, guys. Excuse me. Republican legislators in Raleigh are proposing a bill to study the possibility of dividing larger school districts into smaller ones, particularly if their size is, quote, contributing to negative outcomes for some students. Is this a good idea, or is it possibly some kind of code language for segregating new school districts, smaller districts? Ogie.
I would love to see the data on that, exactly how they come to the conclusion that there's negative outcomes in larger districts. I'd really love to see that.
Wake,
That sounds
Mecklenburg,
racist
Guilford,
to me,
Forsyth, yeah.
That's
Rosemary.
totally Republican.
I mean, we've been there. We were separate, back in the 80s, and we worked to get them all together so that there would be more equitable distribution of funds. So I don't see why you would go back.
Keith.
Well, the negative outcome is the schools that aren't receiving the resources based on the incomes of the families that live in those areas. So it is segregation again. It doesn't make sense.
Economic segregation.
Absolutely.
All right. Despite Trump's order to deport illegal immigrants, the Winston-Salem Forsyth County School Superintendent said that their schools do not collect data on the legal status of students, which makes it difficult for ICE agents to identify and arrest students. Now, here's a question. Do you believe that public schools should collect immigration data on students? Okay.
No, that's not any of their business. I wish Don Martin were here to talk about that. But yeah, I applaud them for not giving up to the ICE people.
But no, and also, why are we asking even more of them? I mean, we're asking them to police also? No.
Keith.
Well, the issue is going to be that many of these police departments and sheriff's departments are going to be receiving funds from the federal government now to go after illegal immigrants, which is going to be a major problem, but they should not be getting information on students.
All right, last week, President Trump barred the Associated Press reporters from several White House events because the AP refused to change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America in their style book. They're still having a fight over that. Does Trump have the right to have his orders obeyed by the press, or did he violate freedom of the press? Okay.
What a petty little man he is. Petty little man. Every journalist in America has an AP style manual within arm's reach. I guarantee you.
That's right.
And if it says Gulf of Mexico, by God, that's what it is.
That's right. Rosemary.
Yeah, it's just petty. I mean, I think you had the perfect word for it, and we can do better.
Yeah, the AP is an international operation. And Keith.
What's the legal name? Is it the legal name Gulf of Mexico?
I guess it is. I mean, that's how it's always. Rand McNally and everybody is deemed as Gulf of Mexico.
Then that's what it is, right?
Speaking of the press, the White House now wants to allow social media influencers into the daily briefing room, even though those folks are not trained and regulated in the same way as real journalists. Are you guys okay with treating social media influencers as journalists? And could this affect the way news is accurately reported?
I think I'm just going to have a nervous breakdown. No, these guys, influencers, please.
You don't want Kim Kardashian delivering the news, Rosemary?
No, I mean, we have to have some standards, right? I mean, just like the AP style book, right? We have to have some agreeable standards. The problem is we can't agree on the standards anymore.
You want Kanye West delivering your news, Keith?
Well, I know I got two journalists on the right, but the news flash, they're already there. They're already doing stuff. They're already influencing views on stuff. So, I mean, it's the next step.
You will let them in anyway?
A few of them, yeah.
All right. It's now been revealed that Illinois Congresswoman Ilhan Omar married her own brother. She was already married her own brother in order to let him stay in this country. Now, should marrying your brother for immigration purposes disqualify you from running for office? Serious question, Hoagie.
I didn't know that. I hate to hear that. I really like her a lot. I'm a little disappointed. I mean,
well, he was going to be deported,
so she disqualify you from running, but I'm still.
I just don't understand how it happened, right? How can you make that work, and how can that be legal?
Yeah.
And there is a problem there.
You think it should bar somebody from running for office, Keith?
Well, if that's the case, everybody in West Virginia would be disqualified. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just a joke. Just a joke. I love West Virginia. I really do.
You can get canceled.
I know. Yeah, let's not.
Yeah.
No,
Keith once dated somebody named Mountain Mama. All right. Finally, President Trump just recently banned all federal agencies from purchasing paper straws. Trump says plastic straws are better. Guys and gals, do you prefer paper straws or plastic straws? Okay.
I prefer Trump to go away. Just go away.
What kind of straws do you like?
I was saying, what a petty little man. Every day it gets worse.
Well, what kind of straws do you like, Rosemary?
I mean, I don't like a paper straw. I'll just go without if I have to.
Keith, what do you think? Paper?
I don't like paper straws.
Yeah.
I don't really like paper.
Have y'all ever like shared with a loved one 2 straws in a milkshake and have a romantic moment? Have you ever done that?
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah.
For a photo, yes.
Yeah. Keith, you ever sucked up stuff from a milkshake with another woman? Or?
Sucked up stuff from a milkshake?
What I mean is,
what do you mean by
Never mind.
I have not sucked up stuff from a
Heading off for West.
Maybe once or twice.
No, all right, well, fortunately, that's all the time we have. Oh, except for this. NASA scientists have said they've discovered something which they call, let me see if I got their language right, it's a fictional universe they're studying. It's what we call Fox News. All right, for all of us here, I'm Jim Longworth. We're headed to West Virginia with Keith.